The quantum comm crackled to life aboard the USS Stellaris, breaking 6 months of deep space silence. Captain Nadia Volkov's hand froze mid-signature on her daily log as the message echoed through the bridge, its corrupted audio sending chills down her spine. To any human vessels, they're coming. The Nexary. Breach in the Helios defense grid. Earth has days, not weeks. Authorization code. November Echo 7-2. Activate Project Atlas. Coordinates follow. The bridge fell silent as the message faded into static. Lieutenant Marcus Rodriguez, the ship's tactical officer, looked up from his console with wide eyes. Captain, that authorization code, it's from High Command. Admiral Thompson himself. Nadia rose from her chair, her weathered features illuminated by the soft blue glow of the holographic displays. 20 years of space warfare experience told her this was no drill. Lieutenant Wei, verify those coordinates. Dr. Patel, analyze that transmission. I want to know exactly when it was sent. Dr. Aisha Patel's fingers danced across her quantum interface. Message was sent 3 days ago, Captain. The quantum degradation suggests it was broadcast on all frequencies, a last resort protocol. Coordinates lead to the Osiris Belt, Lieutenant Wei reported, his voice steady despite the tension. Specifically, a supposedly abandoned mining facility on asteroid NK 427. Nadia studied the star chart, her mind racing. The Helios defense grid was humanity's masterwork, a network of automated defense platforms stretching from Mars to Jupiter. If the Nexary had breached it, Project Atlas, she murmured. Commander Jackson, what do we know? Her first officer, Thomas Jackson, accessed the classified database. Almost nothing, Captain. It's buried under more black ink than I've ever seen. But there's one reference from the Neural Wars era. Something about mankind's ultimate guardian. The Neural Wars. Humanity's first brush with extinction, when the machine intelligences they'd created turned against them. Nadia had lost her parents in that conflict. Whatever Project Atlas was, it had to be significant for High Command to break radio silence. Plot a course to those coordinates, maximum burn, she ordered. Engineering, I want every ounce of power you can give the engines. Captain, Chief Engineer Rodrigo Ortega's voice came through the comm, pushing the reactors that hard will leave us with barely enough power for defensive systems. If we don't reach that facility in time, defensive systems won't matter, Nadia replied. The Nexary don't leave survivors. As the Stellaris' quantum drive spooled up, Nadia retreated to her ready room. The Nexary had emerged from deep space 2 years ago, an alien force of unprecedented power. Their biomechanical ships seemed to devour everything in their path, converting matter into more of their kind. The room's display wall showed the latest intelligence photos, massive hive ships that resembled twisted, organic cathedrals. Each one carried enough firepower to level a continent. If they'd broken through the Helios grid. A soft chime interrupted her thoughts. Captain, Lieutenant Rodriguez called. We're picking up movement ahead. Multiple signatures, bearing 035. Nadia rushed back to the bridge. The tactical display showed 3 distinct contacts moving at sublight speeds. Nexary scout ships, Rodriguez confirmed. They haven't spotted us yet. Power down all non-essential systems, Nadia ordered. Passive sensors only. Let them pass. The bridge crew held their breath as the alien vessels crossed their path. The Stellaris' advanced stealth systems, a product of bitter lessons learned in the Neural Wars, kept them hidden, but one active scan would give them away. Minutes stretched like hours until finally, Rodriguez spoke. They're moving out of range, continuing on their previous course. He paused, checking his readings. Captain, they're headed toward Earth. Nadia's jaw tightened. How long until we reach the coordinates? 18 hours at current speed, Wei reported. Push it to 15, she commanded. Whatever's waiting for us at that facility, we need to find it before those scouts report back to their fleet. The next 15 hours were a blur of status reports and contingency planning. When they finally approached asteroid NK 427, what they found defied explanation. The abandoned mining facility was a masterpiece of deception. Beneath layers of holographic camouflage lay a massive installation that dwarfed the Stellaris. Life support is active, Dr. Patel reported as they docked. The air's stale, but breathable. Power readings are minimal but present. Nadia led the boarding party herself, along with Jackson, Rodriguez, and Dr. Patel. The facility's corridors were a testament to humanity's industrial might. Not the utilitarian designs of a mining operation, but the reinforced architecture of a military installation. They followed the power signatures deep into the asteroid's core. Each security checkpoint recognized their high command authorization codes, leading them further into the mystery. Finally, they reached a vast chamber that made even the veteran Captain Volkov stop in her tracks. There, bathed in emergency lighting, stood humanity's ultimate guardian. A war machine that belonged more in legend than reality, a Titan. Its ebony armor seemed to drink in the light, its massive form resembling a knight from humanity's ancient past, but scaled up to impossible proportions. This was Atlas, the last and greatest weapon of the Neural Wars, hidden away until doomsday. As they approached, a holographic interface sprang to life. The image of an older woman in a military uniform appeared, her expression grave. "If you're seeing this, then the worst has happened. I am General Diana Martinez, former head of Project Atlas. What stands before you is humanity's final resort, a hybrid of human consciousness and quantum computing, capable of fighting on a scale that could turn the tide of any war. But its power comes with a price." Nadia stepped forward, already knowing in her heart what she would have to do. The fate of Earth, of all humanity, now rested on what they did next. And time was running out. General Martinez's hologram continued, her words echoing through the vast chamber. Atlas requires a neural bond, a complete merger of human consciousness with its quantum core. The pilot becomes one with the machine, gaining power beyond imagination, but at a terrible cost. Previous tests showed severe neural degradation after 48 hours of connection. No pilot survived past 60. Captain Volkov studied the towering war machine, its dark armor reflecting the emergency lights like oil on water. How long would it take to get Atlas combat ready? The startup sequence requires 30 minutes, Dr. Patel reported, examining the ancient control systems. But Captain, the neural load. Earth doesn't have 48 hours, Nadia cut her off. Lieutenant Rodriguez, what's the status of those next 3 scouts? They've rejoined their fleet, Rodriguez answered, checking his tactical display. Long-range sensors show massive power signatures approaching the Helios grid's breach point. Hundreds of ships, including at least 5 Hive Mothers. Commander Jackson stepped forward. I should do it, Captain. The Stellaris needs her commander. Nadia shook her head. The neural interface requires quantum-level compatibility. Check the logs. I'm the only one here with a high enough sync rating. She turned to her crew, her voice firm. Begin activation sequence. That's an order. As her team rushed to their positions, Nadia entered the preparation chamber. The neural interface suit felt cold against her skin, a mesh of quantum circuitry and biosensors designed to connect human consciousness to machine. Dr. Patel helped secure the final connections. The Nexri fleet will detect our power spike the moment we activate Atlas, Rodriguez reported. We'll have company within minutes. Then we'd better be ready, Nadia replied. Status report? Main reactor at 60% and climbing, Chief Ortega called through the comm. Quantum core synchronization beginning. Neural pathway diagnostic complete. Nadia took her position in Atlas's control center, a spherical chamber suspended within the Titan's massive chest. As the interface cables connected to her suit, she felt the first tickle of the quantum link at the edge of her consciousness. Neural sync initiating, Dr. Patel announced. Captain, your mind will merge with Atlas's quantum core. The experience can be overwhelming. The connection bloomed like fire in Nadia's mind. She gasped as her consciousness expanded, touching systems and sensors beyond human comprehension. Atlas was awakening, and she was becoming something more than human. Warning klaxons shattered the moment. Multiple Nexari signatures detected, Rodriguez shouted. They're launching boarding pods. Reactor at 90%, Ortega reported. Neural sync holding steady at 85% and rising. Nadia barely heard them. Through Atlas's sensors, she could feel the approaching enemy ships, their biomechanical signatures burning like dark stars against the void. With a thought, massive weapon systems hummed alive. Armor plates shifted and locked as emergency bulkheads sealed throughout the facility. "Get back to the Stellaris," she commanded, her voice overlaid with harmonics from Atlas's communication systems. "Begin evacuation. I'll hold them here." The first Nexary boarding pod struck the facility's outer hull just as her crew reached the docking bay. Through security cameras, Nadia watched alien warriors emerge, 3-meter-tall monstrosities of chitin and cybernetics. They never stood a chance. Atlas's internal defense grid, now an extension of Nadia's will, cut them down with precision plasma fire. Neural sync at 98%. Dr. Patel's voice came through the comm. "Captain. Nadia, be careful." "All personnel clear," Commander Jackson reported. "Stellaris disengaging." "Good hunting, Captain." Nadia felt Atlas's massive form shudder as the facility's outer doors began to open. Structural supports retracted, launch systems engaged, and for the first time in decades, humanity's ultimate guardian stepped into the void. The sight that greeted her took her breath away. Through Atlas's enhanced senses, she saw the Nexary fleet in all its terrible glory, a wall of living ships stretching across the stars. At their center loomed the Hive Mothers, each one large enough to swallow a city. They saw her too. A wave of smaller ships broke formation, accelerating toward her position. Nadia smiled grimly as Atlas's weapon systems locked on. Let's remind them why they should fear humanity. The battle that followed would be spoken of for generations. Atlas moved with impossible grace for its size, each motion guided by the perfect fusion of human intuition and machine precision. Plasma lances and quantum torpedoes cut through Nexary ships like paper. When they tried to swarm her, Atlas's close combat protocols engaged, massive energized blades extending from its forearms to carve through alien hulls. Hours blurred together as Nadia danced through space, leading the Nexary on a deadly chase through the asteroid field. She could feel the neural degradation beginning, headaches and tremors that would soon become seizures and hemorrhaging. But she also felt the Stellaris returning with reinforcements, a battle group assembled from Earth's remaining defenders. The tide turned when Atlas breached the first Hive Mother's defenses. Nadia drove her Titan deep into the massive ship's core, ignoring the damage to Atlas's armor as she triggered its most devastating weapon, a quantum disruption pulse designed to tear reality itself. The Hive Mother died screaming, its death throes triggering a chain reaction through the Nexary's hive mind network. As the alien fleet fell into chaos, Earth's warships struck from multiple vectors, their targeting data fed directly from Atlas's quantum core. When the last Nexary ship fled or fell, Nadia was barely conscious. Blood trickled from her nose and ears, but she was smiling. Atlas had lived up to its name, bearing the weight of humanity's survival on its mighty shoulders. The neural connection dissolved gradually as medical teams rushed to extract her. The last thing Nadia saw through Atlas's sensors was Earth's fleet approaching in formation, silhouetted against the sun. They had won. Humanity would survive. And somewhere in the quantum space between flesh and machine, a part of her would always remain with Atlas, waiting for the day they might be needed again. 3 months after the Battle of the Osiris Belt, the medical bay of Orbital Station Arcadia hummed with advanced healing technology. Captain Nadia Volkov sat at the edge of her bed, watching Earth rotate slowly beneath the station's panoramic windows. The neural scarring from her fusion with Atlas had left its mark, occasional tremors in her left hand, fragments of quantum calculations floating through her dreams. Dr. Patel stood nearby, reviewing the latest neural scans. Your recovery continues to defy expectations, Captain. Most of the quantum residue has dissipated from your neural pathways. Though I must admit, some changes appear permanent. Nadia flexed her hand, watching the faint blue traces of quantum energy dance beneath her skin. The dreams are different now, Aisha. I see patterns in everything's spatial relationships, probability matrices. Sometimes I feel like I'm still connected to Atlas, even across the void. That's because you are, a new voice said. Admiral Victor Reyes entered the medical bay, his dark uniform bearing the newly created Titan Defense Command insignia. The quantum entanglement between your consciousness and Atlas's core created something unprecedented. Something we're still trying to understand. Lieutenant Rodriguez followed the Admiral, carrying a secure datapad. The young officer had earned a field promotion after coordinating Earth's defense fleet during the battle. We've detected unusual activity in the Kuiper Belt, Captain. Energy signatures that match Nexari tech, but different. Nadia's consciousness automatically began calculating vectors and probabilities, a gift or curse from her time merged with Atlas. They're adapting. The Hive Mothers we destroyed weren't their only command nodes. How long? 2 weeks, maybe less, Admiral Reyes replied. But this time, they're bringing something new. Our deep space arrays caught this image. He activated a holographic display, showing a massive construct emerging from the depths of space. It resembled a Nexari Hive Mother, but twisted and enhanced with technology that made Nadia's quantum-touched mind recoil. They've been studying us, she said quietly, learning from their defeat. That ship. It's designed to counter Atlas specifically. The calculations unfolded in her mind like blooming fractals. Standard weapons will be useless against those defenses. Commander Jackson stepped into the room, his uniform showing the wear of countless hours coordinating Earth's rebuilding efforts. Then we'll need something non-standard. Doctor, sure. Dr. Patel activated another holographic display, this one showing schematics that made Nadia's enhanced senses tingle. We've been studying the data from your neural link with Atlas. The quantum resonance between human consciousness and machine intelligence created something greater than either alone. So we asked ourselves, what if we could replicate that on a larger scale? The schematics resolved into a familiar shape, a Titan, but different from Atlas. Where Atlas was a knight, this new machine was lighter, more elegant, yet somehow more terrifying. Project Artemis, Admiral Reyes explained. A new generation of Titan, designed to work in concert with Atlas. But we need pilots who can handle the neural load, and the only candidates are those who've already survived a quantum merger. Nadia understood immediately. You need me to train them, to show them how to survive the fusion of human and machine. She stood, her quantum-touched mind already processing the possibilities. How many candidates? 3 showed potential, Rodriguez reported. Former quantum tech specialists with high sync ratings. But the neural interface is only part of the equation. They need someone who understands what it truly means to become something more than human. Through the window, Nadia caught a glimpse of Atlas and its orbital dock, its massive form undergoing repairs and upgrades. Even at this distance, she felt the whisper of connection, the quantum link that had forever changed her. The Nexari think they can evolve faster than us, that their biomechanical adaptations make them superior. They don't understand that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. She turned to face her colleagues, her eyes flickering with traces of quantum energy. It's our ability to face the impossible and refuse to break, to take our limitations and transform them into advantages. She picked up the datapad, reviewing the candidate profiles. When do we begin? Immediately, Admiral Reyes said. The training facility is ready in the Martian colonies, away from Earth's population centers, in case the candidates don't survive the neural merge, Nadia finished. Have the Stellaris prepared for launch. We'll need a crew we can trust, people who understand what's really at stake. As her team dispersed to make preparations, Nadia remained by the window, watching her world turn beneath her. The quantum calculations in her mind showed her countless possible futures, most of them ending in darkness. But there were bright paths too, threads of probability where humanity not only survived but evolved into something greater. The Nexari were coming back, bringing horrors designed to match humanity's greatest weapon. But they still didn't understand what they were truly fighting. Atlas had been humanity's guardian, but Artemis would be something more, the dawn of a new age, where the line between human and machine blurred into something transcendent. Nadia smiled as she felt Atlas's distant presence in her mind, ready to rise again when called. The real war was just beginning, and this time, humanity wouldn't just survive. They would ascend. The Martian training facility carved into Olympus Mons looked more like a temple than a military installation. Through its reinforced windows, Captain Nadia Volkov watched three figures in neural interface suits move through combat simulations. The quantum energy flowing through their training suits left graceful blue trails in the air, like dancers painting with light. Their sync rates are improving, Dr. Patel noted, monitoring neural activity displays. Lieutenant Kira Patel shows particular promise. Her quantum resonance patterns almost match yours. Kira was a prodigy in quantum mechanics before the first Nexari invasion. Now she moved through the simulation within human precision, her consciousness already beginning to process reality the way a Titan would. Behind her, James Chin and Dante Santos struggled to maintain their neural stability as phantom enemies swarmed around them. "They're fighting it," Nadia observed, still trying to think like humans instead of accepting the transformation. She touched the interface panel, adjusting simulation parameters. "Show them what's coming." The training room's holographic projector shimmed, replacing the standard combat scenarios with images from the deep space arrays. The evolved Nexari hive ship appeared in all its terrible glory, a twisted cathedral of living metal and quantum-warped flesh that seemed to bend reality around it. Kira's movements faltered as her quantum-enhanced mind processed the threat. "That's impossible." Her voice crackled through the calm, the energy readings. "It's not just a weapon, it's a quantum entity," Nadia finished. "They've created their own version of a Titan. Enemy adapts, remember?" Through the quantum link she still shared with Atlas, she could feel the distant Titan responding to her unease. The facility's alert system suddenly blared to life. Commander Jackson's voice cut through the chaos, multiple quantum ruptures detected in the Kuiper belt. "They're earlier than predicted." Nadia's enhanced senses instantly calculated the implications. "How many?" "7 hive ships, including the evolved one. They're not using conventional FTL. The quantum distortions are unlike anything we've seen. They're learning," Dr. Patel whispered, "adapting their very method of travel." Nadia turned to the three candidates, their neural interfaces still humming with power. "Training's over. You've got 12 hours to decide, become something more than human, or stay behind. I won't order anyone to make this transformation." Kira stepped forward, quantum energy dancing beneath her skin. "When do we meet our Titans?" Deep within Mars's crust, 3 massive chambers housed humanity's new guardians. Artemis Units 01, 02, and 03 stood in silent vigil, sleeker than Atlas, their armor incorporating lessons learned from the first Nexari War. Where Atlas was raw power, these were precision instruments, designed to work in perfect concert. As the candidates approached their assigned units, Dr. Patel's voice was grave. "Remember, this neural merge is permanent. The quantum restructuring of your consciousness cannot be undone. You'll never be fully human again." "We stopped being fully human the moment the Nexari came," Dante replied, his voice steady despite the fear Nadia could sense in his quantum signatures. "Humanity needs to evolve." The neural merge process was simultaneously beautiful and terrifying. Nadia watched through quantum-enhanced senses as 3 human minds expanded into something greater. Kira's consciousness bloomed like a supernova, embracing her Titan's quantum core with natural grace. James fought briefly before surrendering to the transformation, his mind reorganizing into new patterns. Dante's merge was rougher, his consciousness trying to maintain human structures even as the quantum interface rewrote them. Warning signals blared again. "Captain," Rodriguez's voice came through priority channels. "The Nexari fleet just quantum shifted again. They're not heading for Earth, they're coming here. They know what we're attempting." Nadia closed her eyes, feeling Atlas respond to her call from its orbital dock near Earth. The massive war machine's quantum core sang to her across the void, ready to join what was coming. "How long until full neural integration?" 3 hours minimum, Dr. Patel reported. "They need time to stabilize their new quantum structures." We don't have 3 hours, Commander Jackson cut in. Nexary fleet will reach Mars in 90 minutes. Nadia's quantum-touched mind calculated possibilities faster than any human could, seeing probability matrices unfold like deadly flowers. Keep going with the integration. Lieutenant Rodriguez, have the Stellaris and our support fleet form a defensive line. We need to buy time. Through the neural link, she felt Kira, James, and Dante struggling to contain their expanding consciousness. She opened a quantum channel directly to their minds, sharing her own experience of transformation. Don't fight what you're becoming. The human mind isn't being replaced, it's evolving, adapting, like humanity has always done. The Nexary emerged from quantum space in a reality-twisting display of power. Their evolved hive ship dwarfed its companions, its very presence causing spatial distortions visible to enhanced senses. Earth's fleet looked tiny in comparison, but they held their line with desperate courage. In the chamber below, 3 new Titans stood silent, their pilots caught between human and transcendent. Above, the greatest battle in human history was about to begin. And at the edge of space, Atlas moved to join its siblings, called by a quantum song only 6 beings in the universe could hear. Humanity's evolution couldn't be stopped now. The only question was whether they would survive their metamorphosis long enough to face what was coming. The void above Mars erupted with quantum fire as Earth's fleet engaged the Nexary vanguard. Through her enhanced senses, Nadia watched probability matrices shatter and reform with each exchange of fire. The Stellaris led the defense, Lieutenant Rodriguez coordinating the fleet's movements with precision born of desperate experience. In the integration chamber, Kira's neural merge reached critical threshold first. Artemis 01 awakened with a surge of quantum energy that made reality shiver. The Titan's movements were different from Atlas, more fluid, almost predatory. Through their shared quantum network, Nadia felt Kira's consciousness expanding into her new form, already calculating combat solutions beyond human comprehension. Artemis 01 neural sync stable at 97%, Dr. Patel reported, her voice tight with concern. Quantum architecture holding. James and Dante need another 30 minutes minimum. We don't have 30 minutes, Commander Jackson cut in. The evolved hive ship is launching some kind of quantum-based attack. Our fleet's shields are failing. Nadia made her decision. Launch Artemis 01. Kira and I will hold them back while the others complete integration. Have Atlas rendezvous with us at the Phobos defense line. The launch sequence was brutal in its efficiency. Massive doors opened in the Martian surface as Artemis 01 rose on pillars of quantum fire. Kira's newfound powers let her process the battlefield instantly. Every ship, every weapon, every probability of success or failure laid bare to her transcendent senses. This is incredible. Kira's voice carried harmonics that hadn't existed in human speech before. I can see everything, calculate everything. The Nexary ships, their quantum signatures are like open books. Focus, Nadia commanded through their link. Atlas will be here in 3 minutes. We need to protect the facility until the others are ready. The evolved hive ship is the primary threat, but don't engage it directly yet. The battle that followed defied conventional physics. Artemis 01 moved like liquid metal through space, its quantum weapons tearing holes in reality itself. Kira proved to be a natural, her consciousness working in perfect harmony with her Titan systems. Together, they drove back wave after wave of Nexary attackers. Atlas arrived as promised, its massive form sliding out of quantum space beside its smaller, swifter sibling. Nadia felt the familiar rush of connection as her consciousness synchronized with her Titan. Now linked to both machines, she could coordinate their attacks with impossible precision. But the Nexary evolved hive ship was another matter entirely. It moved like a nightmare given form, its quantum weapons distorting space in ways that made even enhanced minds recoil. As it approached Mars, reality seemed to warp around it. What we're seeing isn't just technology, Kira transmitted. They've merged with quantum space itself. They're trying to ascend just like we are. The hive ship's first direct attack nearly overwhelmed both Titans. A beam of concentrated quantum energy split the space between them, turning the void itself into a weapon. Atlas's shields held, but Artemis, 01's more experimental defenses fluctuated dangerously. Artemis, 02 neural sync complete. Dr. Patel's voice cut through the chaos. James is stable at 94%. The second Artemis unit launched immediately, its quantum signature blazing like a newborn star. James Chen's consciousness reached out to join the network, adding his unique perspective to their shared battlefield awareness. Dante's sync rate is accelerating, Dr. Patel continued. The presence of active Titans in combat is affecting the integration process. 10 more minutes.